It's raw, it's real, it's unfiltered. It's Simple Roots Radio. And now your host, Alexa Sherm.
Welcome back to another episode of Currently. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm excited you're here. In these short shows, we talk about all things you need to know today to start implementing for a healthier tomorrow. In today's episode, we have a question from an anonymous reader, and I don't blame them. The question is one that's not often talked about, and it can leave a few people feeling squirmish, including my husband. Today, I'm talking about a question no one wants to talk about, but everyone wants to know. How bad is it to hold your poop? Which I'll now refer to as bowel movements to appease my husband, who is squirmish when I talk about the importance of healthy bowel movements. I think this is a fantastic question, and this is because the reality is bowel movements are a great indicator of your overall health. If you're not having a regular bowel movement and it's not coming at ease the majority of the time, then we need to start looking into other things that are going on in our body. It's just a good indicator of overall health as well as an indicator of our metabolism. So to a nutritionist and a health practitioner, bowel movements really do mean a lot, and they can indicate a lot from their size, their consistency, and their color. We're going to leave all that out of today's episode because that gets a little deep and a little personal, and some of you are probably already twisting in your seat. So we'll just get back to the question about bowel movements, and is it bad to hold them? Unfortunately, bowel movements can be unpredictable and somewhat stubborn in some of us. But, like I mentioned, it's a great indicator of overall health, and what goes in must come out, right? And if it's not coming out, then where is it going? It's staying in us. Now, there are times in our life when we shouldn't have as many regular bowel movements, or things might move a little bit slower, such as pregnancy, when your body's trying to absorb all of the nutrients and water it can from the food that we eat. Things just go a little bit slower. And the same goes for after you're sick or been ill for a period of time. You might have sluggish bowel movements. But that's not the problem. It's long-term constipation, our long-term inability to have regular bowel movements, and some of this can actually coming from holding it too often, not going when you need to go. But I get it, life happens, right? You could be on a hot date or in the middle of a presentation, or worse, running a big race without a bathroom in sight. So what do? There's only one thing you can do, and that's hold it until you can go a little bit later. But the question is that bad? First, let's remember what our bowel movements, our poop, is made up of. It's a combination of waste material and bacteria as a result of your body's digestive process. After you eat, it takes your body a little less than 50 hours for it to do its thing. So it's a long process. And roughly 40 of those hours are just spent in your colon. When the digested food finally reaches the end, the rectal walls are stretched, and that stretching sends a complex signal to the brain that it's go time. Everyone's schedule and frequency are going to differ from a few times a day to once a day, but like I mentioned before, we should all be going at least once a day, and our body really craves consistency, so you can most often find that you're going at a consistent time every single day. The bottom line in this question is when you got to go, just go. But I get that can't always happen. I mean, I've been in the middle of a race and had to go to the bathroom, and hence why you see lines and lines at the pre-race porta potties is because we all fear this. We all fear having to go when there's no bathroom in sight. So if you've got to hold it for whatever reason, the feces will return to the colon where more water will be absorbed and stored until the next time you need to go. So it's not the end of the world if once in a while you have to hold it for whatever reason. But the majority of the time, if you have to go, just go. And if you don't, that's when problems can arise. Holding on a rare occasion, again, is fine, but shouldn't be done all of the time. It can lead to unnecessary constipation and long-term constipation issues. The longer you hold it, the more water that's absorbed and the harder it becomes. This could all lead to colon damage due to the effort and strain to expel it later on. So nearly all medical experts agree it's not harmful to hold it from time to time, but you shouldn't make a habit of it. So if you gotta go, go. And if you can't, then hold it. But remember, constipation could creep up, and if you're a sufferer of not being able to have regular bowel movements, here are a few key things to remember. Making sure you have ample amounts of healthy fats in your diet, as well as fiber, which will hold it all together and keep things moving. So to leave you with a few quick tips to overcome constipation and keep things moving in the right direction, one is to stay hydrated. Remember that constipation can be a result of just dehydration or not having enough water in your bowel movements to keep things moving in the right direction. The longer your bowel sits in the colon, the more water will be absorbed and the harder that will be. Which brings us to number 2, is to be well oiled just like your car. Having enough healthy fats in your diet is a lubricating agent, and it helps all things in your system to move more smoothly. So making sure you have plenty of healthy fats at every single meal, including olive oil, avocados, olives, coconut oil, the list can go on, but having healthy fats in your diet. And number 3 is having plenty of produce because, again, fiber is another component of healthy bowels and to keep things going in the right direction, as well as to provide healthy bacteria in your gut, which can just be an imbalance in good and bad bacteria in your GI system, which can cause constipation and or diarrhea in other cases. And number 4 is to move. A lot of constipation issues or bowel issues is just a motility issue. Hence why in the middle of a race, most people tend to have that urge to go, or right before a race is you're up and you're moving and you're getting excited and you're getting your hormones flowing and your body flowing and energy's moving. And so motility, no matter where it is in your body, will help motility of your GI tract. So just moving throughout the day can trigger or help someone to have healthy bowel movements. And the last one that I want to mention is just having the right nutrients, having the right balance of bacteria, probiotics, prebiotics, and the right balance of minerals in our diet can also help us to go to the bathroom. So all of those tips can help you if you're struggling with constipation, but just words of advice, if you gotta go, go. So thanks to whoever sent this question in, and please keep the questions coming in. I love to help you and I love to help answer any questions you have, even if you want to remain anonymous. That's perfectly fine with me. Shoot me an email, leave it on Facebook, or add a comment to the comment section below my blog, where you can find all of the show notes on today's episode at simplerootswellness.com. And as always, make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you can stay up to date on the latest podcast releases and what's coming up next. Also, if you could do me a favor and rate and review the podcast, I would be forever grateful. This is the lifeblood of the show. So by rating and reviewing, you're allowing other people who wouldn't normally see this podcast be able to find it and experience realistic and achievable health knowledge just like you. So to rate and review the podcast, go to simplerootswellness.com/iTunes. In the meantime, keep those questions coming, stay well hydrated, and eat your veggies. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on Monday.